time for me.
So how are you able to?
Jesus Church, actually Chansa, is counterpart to the Reverend Pastor Joseph, as I said, focus on some good things, we reflect from the year 2018, and also our expectation in the year 2019. Welcome to the program. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Pastors, welcome to the program. Thank you, sir. Okay, I think that this program is an open language. I want to try to get involved in the great family of great idea and understanding and political issues and also other faith and communities out there. And I start maybe before we go into the issues of the program, we want to know more about who Apostle Anthony is before we go to discuss the topics and some of the things.
Alright, Apostle Adrian is just an anointed man of God. Of course, he's called by God. Yes, he's an apostle by calling, serves God, the servant of God, the servant of people. And also is a man sent from God for such an hour as this to travel with God and preach the gospel to the ends of the world. And so basically that's who I am.
Pastor, because we want to know who Pastor Anthony is a bit difficult, but I try to pronounce it.
Excuse me.
We want to know who Pastor Exusa is before we get to the last time.
Okay, what I can say is Pastor Exusa is a man of God and lover of God and a worship leader. I think that's what I can say.
Apostle Adrian, how's been your experience in ministry? Make those people want to know how you were the first encounter with ministry and now you have moved from the time that you are called up to where you are now, and also the lesson that you learned, which can also give us that also understand the experiences that you've gone through and what you learned from it.
Wow, that's a very, very vast question. However, let me just comment. Well, my calling, God called me into ministry a very long time ago, just when I was a child. And, usually I would have these visions and I would have these visitations from the Lord. But years ago when I was actually in Kayombo, so when I went to school, well, professionally I'm an accountant, so when I went for studies to school, that's when the call of God became so strong. Because I began to have almost daily encounters there. And it was barely a week in college where the examples at a meeting and the former leadership was dissolving. So they actually made me their chairman there. So I served as the chairman there. But what's really brought me into ministry is when I began to see God, because sometimes the encounters I was having as well was wrong. So I began to see God in prayer and fasting until the Lord one day visited me in a vision and he spoke to me vividly concerning what he has called me to do. And another time I went back to cover to Mufrida from Chimbona, that is I went to Mufrida, and there the man of God who actually was my mentor, I was in his church. Soon after I went there, he told me to say the Lord has spoken to me that we're going to Lusaka. And at an appointed time in Lusaka, the Lord he has a work that he wants you to do in Lusaka. That's how actually I found myself in Lusaka. And when I came here, of course, I knew nobody. My friend was just where I used to pray from, and that's the mountain place. Because by then I didn't have a proper house where I could be also. So when I started this life of going to the mountain and sitting there almost all the time, then I had a serious encounter that God now began to tell me things that he wants me to do in Lusaka, getting into ministry. And then afterwards, as time was moving, that's when actually the church was actually getting born. But before that, we started from the fellowship, and then thereafter, the Lord led us to start a ministry like a church from there. So basically, things that I can say to people concerning my experience in ministry is that it's something that actually is a call of God. It's a calling by the grace of God. God calls you into this. And if it's something that you just start all by yourself, That's why you find that because we don't really understand that this is a call, especially by God. God calls you for the work that He has for you. And afterwards, the other thing that I can say is that ministry is also born out of the prayer life, consistency in prayer. As you remain dedicated to God, seeking God to understand that which He has called you to do, that's where ministry is actually born. Because ministry is born out of that intimacy that you have with God in prayer. Yes, that's what I can say. I don't know if it's clear.
After I chose also how did you experience the time that you started where you are now?
Well, thank you. My experience in ministry, also coming from the corporate world, this was a time when I was in school somewhere in Britain. That's when I had my first encounter experiencing God. But I didn't really understand a lot of things. But as I kept on growing, I would have dreams, I would have visions, the Lord would visit me. I also started understanding that apart from just ministering the Word of God, God had also put upon my heart the ministry of singing, as a music minister. So I started doing that also. And through that, that's where I experienced the love of God. Because I found myself in times of fellowship where I could write songs and just minister to the Lord. So I would say my experience in ministry, I have seen the love of God. I've encountered the love of God, and that's what has kept me. That's what has kept me moving like that. And until I met the man of God, Apostle Albion, who's my father in the Lord. He had to explain to me the encounter that God had. The encounter that he had with God, and what the Lord had placed upon his heart, and what God had showed him. And when I saw that, I started seeing myself in what he was saying, and it was confirmed in my spirit to say, this is a man that I will work with, this is a man that I will serve God with. And I can tell you, it has been a great honor to serve God through serving the man of God, just like it was with Samuel and David. The Bible says Samuel served God through serving David, and I have found the blessing of God in my heart, encountered the love of God through the man of God, because I have seen God through that. So all I can say about my experience is I have seen God, and I've encountered the love of God.
Now we are really attention to others to come to the team some ups and downs. How do you make your, how would you look at come to the team? How are you doing? Then you need to also, you actually compare with people to work on which ministry.
Okay, maybe to approach that one, I will start with, I personally, in our ministry, we have a little challenges this year. Somehow I was even feeling drained because I didn't know there's certain things in life and ministry that you really need to be very sensitive of. For example, the people that you associate yourself with. Really pray a major role in our lives, especially in serving God. You know, I have a lot of friends who happen to be men of God. But because of certain people, because we have different spirits, and certain people whom I had, it's like what Jesus said when he told the disciples in Mark, he said, let us cross over to the other side. And the Bible says when Jesus said, let us cross over to the other side, the disciples actually which shows that sometimes carrying a lot of people with you can wreck or can make the ship sink. So in the same way, I began to experience certain challenges in ministry whereby the ministry was somehow going down, especially at the beginning of this year. I didn't understand, but until the Lord began to minister to me, that it's because of certain people whom I've allowed used because they're, I had a lot of friends. But, ministry, what I've come to understand is that prophets walk alone. The ministry, of course, you need to have friends, but most of the time, your only relationship is you and God. What? Because all the time you need to be consistently hearing from God. But because of the people whom I had in my circles, I began to experience certain challenges. So coming to certain things that people must do, looking at what I observed last year, is that, as we have crossed over into 2019, if we're going to see the glory of God, if we're going to see progress really, there are certain people, there are certain things we need to get rid of. That's the first thing. Because preparation to cross over begins with first getting rid of excess load. Excess load must remain in 2018. The things that weighs us down, the things that makes us not to believe in ourselves, the things that, there are people who are down and who may never see progress in 2019 all because somebody disappointed them some years ago, and they have been coming and carrying this disappointment all along. And because of this disappointment, they find themselves that they don't make progress. But all that is excess load. So there are people we need to get rid of. This is according to my experience. The same people that we need to get rid of. If we want to see progress, we need to change the company. We need to be around. It's around ourselves with people who encourage us, who inspire us, who will be there for us to tell us even when things are hard. They'll be there to hold our hands and we pray together. So this is what I've seen, and what I can say is that one thing that must be done is to change the company of people before we see the progress in this year, and to change certain things. As long as we know that this is a weight on my life, it's bringing me down, we need to lift it so that we walk freely in this year 2019.
And then after I go to that one, so also maybe what are your expectations to lead the
actually,
any major plan you need in terms of expansion?
Actually, the Lord has been kind to us. The Lord has been kind to us. Ministry we have been meeting last year, throughout last year. We have been meeting at a school in town. At a school. But the Lord spoke to us and He told us that this is a year that we're going to experience progress on every side. And as I'm talking to you right now, effective this Sunday, the Lord has given us a very big thing, actually. This is actually a sign of growth. Because we have been meeting at the school, we've been experiencing a situation where certain people cannot stay. We introduced 2 services, but still we are having people who are not having what to say. So what we decided is, what the Lord has done actually, is He has given us premium hotel right in Kayombo there in North Bank of Zambia. That's that grand hall that we have been offered before we do Sunday services. And apart from that, of course, we have because we are a reach out ministry, and we are planning to have crusades this year, and also to reach out to the lost souls, and also to bring the gospel out there. And of course, in our ministry, we have worshipers like Pastor Susie. So we are also the other thing we're planning is to have a mega worship night. Also, one of the things that we're planning this year, and also we are having some conferences in this year. It's a loaded year, and we are looking forward to see the glory of God and to see the power of God flowing in the nation.
So also the devotion year 2018 and what you expect 2019.
Thank you, sir. What I can say about 2018 is that 2018 has been a year of lessons. Like you are seated before the Lord, and the Lord is teaching you, showing you things that you're supposed to stand on, and things that you're not supposed to touch. I can agree with the man of God concerning the issue of the excess load. If you look at the problem that the children of Israel had with Moses, it was because of the multitude. Where the time that they were leaving, in Egypt, there was also a multitude. There were also other people that were going with them. So you find that these were the same people that were bringing that bad energy in the children of Israel. When their leaders are not around, they will start suggesting other things to say, well, let's do this, let's do that. And so it's one thing that the Lord has showed us clearly to say, We have to, when it comes to totally depending on God, it just has to be God. Let God choose your friends. Let God choose the people that you walk with. Just like when Moses was standing before God, God told him, because Moses was complaining about a few things, I don't know how to talk, I don't know how to do this. God didn't say, there's Aaron. There's Aaron. I'm going to make you a God. Aaron will be a prophet. So let's allow God to choose the people that we work with. It will be a blessing like that. Because there are some people that can be so good to be around us, but something being good doesn't qualify it to be right. So some people, they might be good, but they're not qualified to be the right people that we work with in things that God wants us to do. Then when it comes to expectations, we're not limiting God. The Bible says we have received the Spirit without measure. So whatever that we are expecting from God is that without measure. So we have, as a team, because as a church, we are working as a family. We are working as a family and not as individuals. So as a family, we are standing together to make sure that this gospel of Jesus Christ is going to be preached. Yeah, it's going to be preached. We're not only going to stand on the pulpit to preach it, but we'll go in the streets to preach it. We'll go in schools. We'll go in every institution to take the gospel there. We are not going to wait for people to follow us where we are, but we'll go where they are. Just like Jesus Christ gave an instruction. He said, go in the byways, go in the streets, go there, compel them to come, because we know that we know what people need. People need the gospel. They might make all such demands to say we need this, but what they really need is the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ, and that's what we really want to take to the world. We want to take the gospel to the world, and so we have put up a number of things, like our man of God has said. We have put up a number of things that we want to do, and me being a music minister, there are certain things that God has placed upon my heart concerning the music ministry that is in our nation. There are certain things that God has been revealing to me in the past few years, and these are things that the Lord is pushing me, that it is time that we come to the platform and share with our fellow ministers on how we can effectively bring a change in the body of Christ when it comes to music ministry, where it's to move from being an entertainment into a ministry and see lives transformed, see lives giving themselves to God because of how we are ministering to them, where they won't just have fun, but they will encounter God and express the love of God.
Yes. Now, we have the crossover night throughout the country. Yes. Maybe also, can you explain the significance of the crossover night? Moving from one year to
Well, the significance of crossover night is that, first and foremost, we have to understand there are things that are done during the crossover night, which sometimes, if you don't understand that significance, you may miss the blessing that you need. The truth of the matter, when we talk about the physical, the truth of the matter is that there is nothing that changes. From 2018 to 2019, physically, it's just that the number will change. That is in the physical. But when you go to the spiritual realm, or when you cross over, you attend the crossover night, you come to church or you go to church, you attend the crossover night, and then there is a declaration that is given by the leader, your man of God there. They say this is going to be the year of this, it's going to be the year of this. It may be different, and many people wonder why the things are different and all. But the issue is that all the people who give us these things, the men of God, they are inspired by the Holy Spirit in that direction. Because that's the direction that God wants to take that congregation and that people. Now what I'm saying is that the significance of the crossover pertaining to being given a film is that just like the scripture that I'm referring to, Mark, the Bible says Jesus told the disciples, let us cross over to the other side. Okay? And because he said that when the storm came and there was serious wind, and so the boat was now being drowned, The Bible says they went to him and said, Master, don't you care that we perish? And Jesus woke up and he rebuked the winds, he rebuked the storm and said, peace be still. And there was a great calm. And he says, why are you so fearful? Why are you so unbelieving? Now the issue is that the reason why Jesus was so peaceful on the sea, while the boat is getting sunk in water, while they are being drowned, the reason why Jesus was at peace is because he had said, let us cross over. That means the prophetic word that was given by Jesus had power sufficient to carry them through across. Praise the Lord. So in the same way, we discover that when you attend the crossover night and the man of God, the woman of God gives a theme for the year, that word that is given to us, we are supernaturally empowered. That's a prophetic declaration. It supernaturally empowers us to go through that year and succeed. Jesus, the reason why Jesus was comfortably sleeping on a pillow is because he knew that people are not going to die, no matter the pressure. Praise the Lord. For example, like in this year that we have started, it's not like we're not going to have challenges. We may have challenges, we may have issues here and there, but because of the word that was given to us, that word will carry us through. That word will carry us through. That's why the storms came while they have been given. Jesus didn't say, let us go and die. He said, let us go cross over. So because Jesus said, let us cross over, there was no way they were going to die. In the same way with us, there's no way things can go opposite to the declaration, to the word that has been given. This is why it's significant to attend crossover. It's very important to cross over with God, because God at that hour, He will give us a way to run with. And the other thing is that this is a year, and that same crossover, it actually gives us an opportunity. It's like a door into another year. And therefore, you have to take over. You have to be in charge of your door into the year. Because if you're not in charge of the gate into the year, anything that is in charge of your gate into the year spiritually will control you. So, through the crossover, we also take charge and control of the gate into this year. So, like for example, those who had crossover nights everywhere, as they prayed, they took over the gates of the year in their lives. And also the word that was given by the man of God will carry them through the year, unless they don't believe it. Just like what happened to the disciples. Because the Bible says the disciples did not actually believe it. They were feared. Jesus said, let us cross over. But when the wind came, when the water started entering into the boat, they started crying and they started looking for solution, thinking that we may die. And they went to Jesus and said, don't you care that we perish? Meaning they were convinced that we are dying. Now look at this. These are professional fishermen. They knew what it means to be drowned. They knew very well what it means when the boat is sinking. But they went to him and said, don't you care that we perish? But Jesus, who was not actually a fisherman, said, peace, be still, relax. I've spoken a word. So as a believer, it's very important to be in a place where you're crossing over and you're given direction for the year. Because that same word has sufficient energy and power in it to carry you throughout that year. And whatever challenge that you face, you have to look to that word. You have to say, it is really, Lord, you said, through your servant, you said this is our year of progress. Why is my life going backwards? And that is going to be, the Bible says, we are the most sure word of prophecy, which we hold on to like a light in a dark room. Understand what I mean? So it says, this word that we have, a most sure word of prophecy, we hold on to it. That thing that was given last night is something that you have to hold on to. No matter what you find, it may be dark everywhere. You hold on to this word. This word will surely deliver you to where you're supposed to be. Because of this word, you will not drown and you will not die. So this is one of the significances of attending a crossover. We receive direction by the Spirit of the Lord. And also we take over and we take charge of the gates into that year. Thank you.
What I could say is, in life, it's very important when you're beginning something, the atmosphere that surrounds you is very important in life. So when we talk about having a meeting like a crossover, the word of God is God. So when words are released, there is an atmosphere that they create around your life. So depending on the place where you are, it will determine the kind of atmosphere that you will carry. And the other thing I can say about crossover, like man of God said, he mentioned us receiving a word. That word becomes your weapon. You know, when Mary encountered Elizabeth, Elizabeth told her something. That's in the book of Luke. She told her, she said, "Blessed is the one that believes the word that came to her, for there shall be a fulfillment of that which shall believe." So, a lot of people have attended these meetings, and at the end of the day, they'll say, things didn't go according to what I was told. Why? Because a lot of people hear the word and don't mix it with faith. Paul says that in Hebrews chapter 4. He says the children of Israel did not enter into their rest because they never mixed the word they received with faith. So the word can be released that you are the one that gives authority to that word to work in your life through the faith that you mix with the word of God. So words can come. A lot of people have received words today. A lot of things was declared. This is the year of this. This is the year of this. But that word is not going to work just because you heard it. That word is not going to work just because you were found in the place where it was spoken. But that word will work because you believed it and you are ready to carry it as a weapon. So that even when you meet something in your life, you will stick to that word and declare that word to run. Habakkuk, he says, "I will go up to hear what the Lord will say." And this is what happens. The man of God will go to hear what the Lord will say concerning your life. And he says, write down this vision that let he who reads run with it. So the most important thing is for us to run with the word that has been given. So the word is only going to be fulfilled if you are running with it. Because as the scriptures go on, it says there will be a fulfillment. It's not going to delay, there will be a fulfillment. But for who? The one who has run with it. So it's not someone who has just sat to say, okay, something has been spoken to me. No. If the word comes to me, I have to hold on to it and run with it. So it has to be something that I've written upon my heart. It's something that I have to surround myself with. At least let me write it in my notebook. Let me put it in my house. Let it be somewhere where I will look to it and say, no, this is my year of this. This is my year of this, and I am running with it. Even when I encounter something, it won't be like the disciples who say, don't you care that we perish? But Jesus Christ said, let us cross over. So even if I meet the storm, I'm not going to be afraid of the storm. My mind won't be on the storm. My mind will be on the word, because he has told me something, and I'll hold on to that.
In the beginning, Apostle did mention about the importance of prayer. And people sometimes they ask through this program, when is the right time to run
You mean time?
time? Is there a specific time where someone can, for some, go shout, down, move down, like the marketplace. Now, the tax continues to say, when is the right time and place for someone to go and pray?
Beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. My understanding of prayer is from actually what I said. And in the book of Matthew chapter 6, he explains concerning prayer. But before I even quote the scripture, I have to make mention that prayer is based on a relationship. Prayer is based on a relationship in the sense that Jesus said, they came to Jesus because these guys, the disciples came to Jesus and said, Master, teach us how to pray, as John also taught his disciples. Okay? So now, these are people who were Jews back then. They grew up praying in temples and everywhere as Jews. Okay? Now, as they grew up, they discovered that John also had disciples, and he had taught them how to pray, a certain prayer, perhaps. So, they came to the Master because they saw the difference between the prayer life of the apostles of John and the prayer life of Jesus. And they came to the Master and said, Master, teach us how to pray, as John also taught his disciples. Maybe this is because after observation, they realized that in spite the prayer life of the apostles of John, the fruits of their prayer life are not as evident as the fruits of the prayer life of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So they came to him requesting because they wanted to be having results just like Jesus has results, and not as unfruitful as the disciples of John. Now the thing is that Jesus said, when you pray, say our Father. When you pray, say our Father. That alone there is where I get my definition of faith. When you pray, say our Father. In other words, just what Jesus was saying to them is that for you to pray the way I pray, there has to be a father-son relationship. So it says, when you pray, say our Father, our Father, our Father. Meaning, he has to be your father first before you pray. There has to be a relationship. And once there's a relation, if you are in relationship with anyone, a good relationship, you can talk anywhere. You can talk in town, you can talk in the bathroom, you can talk anywhere. Based on the relationship. Prayer is not just a program. Praying as a program, sometimes it's what actually is called tradition, and also it's what is actually called tradition, and Bible says you have made the word of God of none effect because of the tradition. These are people who are okay, 15 hours I'm going to pray, 20 hours I'm going to pray. But the reason why they made the word of God of none effect because of that tradition is because they took it just as a program and not a relationship. But God's intention concerning prayer is that prayer must be a relationship. And I have to have a relationship with God. And if I'm in a relationship with God, it will be based on the love of God in my heart. I can fellowship with him anytime. And you know, the more you grow in fellowship with the Lord, you discover that you have more anger, more desire to pray, to spend quality time with him. Because the one that you love, you want to spend time with him. That is the truth. The one that you love, you can spend the whole night talking and chatting. In the same way, if you are in love with God really, as according to the depth of your love, you can spend time at night. You can wake up 02. Just want to love God. You can pray in the morning. You can pray anytime, and you can pray anywhere. Why? Because God now has become more than just somebody who is just a program, who you just meet on a certain program, but he has become one with you. You walk with him. The Bible says we are temples of the Lord. The Bible says he is with us. That's what actually Emmanuel means, God with us. So he's with us even when I'm in town, he's with me. And prayer is communication with God. I talk to God, I expect him to talk to me. So anywhere I am, because the Lord is with me, I'm free to talk to him. Anytime, anywhere. That's what I believe, and that's what I know about prayer. It's based on a relationship. Time doesn't really matter. You can pray anytime, you can pray anywhere, based on that relationship.
Maybe also not in addition, but also mention the issue of when that prayer really because of when people just sit and say this is prayer, and things will move according to how the Lord will declare. Now the aspect of faith and patience. Someone will say the word, but you see June, July, August, they start to give up something. Maybe what's important is their faith, but also patience towards what is done.
Okay. Concerning prayer, I think my brother has explained it so well. It's about the relationship with God. So it's not like we pray to have a relationship. No, we pray because we're in a relationship. We pray because we are in a relationship with God. The one thing that has qualified us to minister to him or to speak to him is because of our relationship with him. What I can say concerning words declared and waiting, one thing that we need to understand is that when I receive the word of God, it's a more sure word of prophecy, speaking of my life. That's on my path because I have received the word. So the other thing that I need to know is this. When it comes to the issue of faith, there are times where people will say, no, I believe the word that was spoken to me, but there's a presence of uncertainty within them, that's already a sign that they didn't believe the word. Because if I believe the word that I received, there should not be uncertainty in me. There should not be uncertainty in me if I have received the word of God. And again, there has to be an evidence of peace within me if I have received the word of God. A sign that I have believed. Peace is a sign that I have believed what has been given to me. So now, when it comes to the issue where maybe a word has been given and it's not coming to pass, like people would want to start giving up to say, no, it's not coming, it's not coming, it's not coming. Such thoughts are not thoughts of God. God cannot tell you something, then at the end of the day he starts telling you to say, no, but you see, it's taking long. It's taking long. I think let's just find another way, and let us believe something else. When such things begin to come, they are trying to show you to say, I think it's not God that spoke. But something that tries to exalt itself above the word of God is not God. And the Bible encourages us to put down such thoughts that begin to come to us. We don't have to allow such things to settle in us. I'll give you an example of Abraham and the wife. God gave them a word to say, you're going to have a son. And this is one thing that I will encourage somebody out there. Don't make such a mistake, of trying to find another way of working out things when God has spoken in your life. Because when God spoke to Abraham, he told them about having a son. We see where the wife comes to tell him to say, I think maybe the son that God was talking about, you can just have the son with our servant. But God didn't accept that son. He said, this is not the one that I talked about. I was talking about Sarah having a child. And this will be the child of a promise. And what happens as years go on, the very son that Abraham had with this woman becomes a problem to the generation of Isaac. So you will find out that a word will come to you, and maybe you're trying, you are shaking to say, no, it's taking long. Let me just do, maybe a suggestion will come to say, no, there's this, there's that, and you want to fall into it. You'll find that you birth problems for yourself. Just like Abraham did, you birth problems for yourself. So it's very important that we hold on to the word. No matter what thought comes to you, stick to the word of God. Stick to the word of God. Because God is spirit. But most of the time we want to look at things in the physical to say, months have passed, it's not happening. There's a time when the truth will catch up with time. Because the truth is final. It is settled in heaven already. It's there already. So now it's time that has to run to catch up with the truth that God has said. So we have to hold on, looking unto the word of God. The word of God is Jesus, who is the perfecter of our faith. Because when we move our eyes from him, like Peter, we start sinking. So we have to look unto him. As we are looking unto him, our faith is perfected. And we are not going to look at time. And what will happen? Time will catch up with the truth, and it will come to pass. But remember what I said at first. I talked about the word being a weapon. So it is today. Use the word as a weapon. He said, God said this concerning my life. It's like you are standing in the court of law, bringing up your evidence before the judge to say, this is this. I cannot be declared guilty because I have evidence, I can do this. So if God has given me a word, I can stand before God as a child of God to say, God, you said this. So this is what I'm expecting in my life. I have this opportunity now. It has to work according to what you say. So time can be there, things may look like they are taking long. They are not taking long. They are not taking long. Are we looking at the time of God, or we are just looking at, how things are happening in this world? But if God really says it, we don't have to give up. If indeed it was God. But if I give up, then I mean it's not God that spoke. But if it's God that spoke, I don't have to give up on the word that came to me.
Maybe I can just add another thing. The Bible actually puts it this way. Faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. So when you receive the word, the question is the issue of faith and patience. How am I going to wait in faith for what was spoken? Patient, when 6 months have gone, I think it's not coming to pass. Sometimes it's not a matter of you sitting down and waiting. I think that's why mistake sometimes is. For example, this is our year of progress. It's our year of progress. Upwards and forward only. Now, the issue is that if I sit down at home and wait for progress, I'm waiting for a long time, and I'm not going to wait on God. Because faith, if I receive that word in faith without works is dead. You see? So I have to now begin to work out my faith. Now that I've received this word, the only evidence that really I have faith is that I'm going to go out there and push things must work. Christianity and the issue of prayer, the issue of faith, it's not the issue of just sitting and relaxing and allowing things to just flow on their own. No. It requires your responsibility, because we are responsible. A believer is supposed to be responsible. You are responsible for your faith. You have to work out. The Bible says, work out your own salvation. Salvation there touches everything. You have to work it out. Deliberately taking steps. For example, somebody says, this is a year of settlement, for example. Then you don't work, and then you're thinking, so this year I'm going to be settled. Because pastor said so. And now look at this person who doesn't even go outside and take an application anywhere, just sitting in the house. How is he going to be settled? Look at this lady who doesn't even take care of herself. Then someone doesn't package herself in such a way that somebody may even be interested to stop her and talk about marriage. You understand what I mean? There's no way a person is going to experience that settlement. So there are deliberations, there are deliberate steps that we have to take to see the word manifest in our lives. Just like the Bible says in Hosea, it says the labor pains. It was talking about the woman who was in labor, about to give birth. It says the labor pains have come upon the child, but the child is not moving to the place of breaking forth. You can find that in Hosea 13:14. This child is in the womb. The time for delivery has come, but the child is not moving down, because the child is supposed to move down, where it's supposed to break through, where it's supposed to come out now. But imagine a child who is just out here, doesn't want to move, doesn't want to turn to come in position. You discover that this child, the Bible calls this child a foolish child. You see, so the same thing is true. This word that was given to us by our man of God, it's like we conceived something. We are pregnant with progress. We are pregnant with success. But what are we supposed to do? We are now supposed to go where we're supposed to push now to come out. Because the time of delivery is a time when the child also, even a mother will feel the child also trying to come out. The child has to go where it's supposed to come out, supposed to break through. So the same is true with the thing that we got, with the prophetic word that was given. We need to do something about it. And not just to sit and wait for it, because you can wait forever.
Now some opt to go for fasting. Maybe let's try to explain the importance of fasting. And is there a time frame for someone to go for continue when they come back to prayer and taken to hospitals and treatment?
Alright, fasting is very, very important actually. Fasting is very, 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 very important, and fasting for a long time is very important. Fasting is especially very important. But the issues that pertaining to, maybe for example, the thing is given. If you want, you can fast about it for it to come. But fasting does not replace your working, your responsibility. You should not replace fasting and prayer with responsibility. For example, if there is no food, and then I fast for food to come, You know, God requires you to go out there and make things happen. Go out there and find something to do and provide for your family, and not just stay in fasting. And as much as fasting is very, very important, very, very important, it's very important that you take responsibility for what you're supposed to do. Now, the quantity of days that you fast, of course, I would say this for sake of advising if you are out there. Don't attempt to go into long fasting if God has not spoken to you. Because even our Lord Jesus, we find the scripture which says, and he was led in the wilderness by the Spirit to pray and fast. Sometimes you discover that people have fasted 100 days, 50 days, with nothing to show for it, because they just went into it. Some of them they are living passed on because of the idea of fasting. Some of them they have lost weight and all manner of things have happened to them because of the idea of fasting without instruction. That's why whatever that you do, especially when it comes to fasting for a long period of time, it's best to ask for direction from God. If God gives you a direction, or if they tell you at church, like our pastor tells us that we're going to fast this week or this month, yeah, that one you can go ahead, because our authority has given us a go ahead and they have told us, and perhaps they have heard from God. But a person of fasting, why you declare 40 days, yourself you just say, I'm going to fast 40 days. I think it's best to hear from God. But because, you know, in the Bible I find it very interesting, for example, the fasting of 21 days. The fasting of Daniel, rather. Daniel's fasting was not really something that was born of God. If you read that story of Daniel, you realize that actually the angel came and saw Daniel to say, the day that you began to fast, your prayer was heard in heaven. The day that you began to pray, you sat down and began to pray, your prayer was heard in heaven and the answer was released. And I was sent with an answer. But as I was coming, the prince of Persia withstood me, and I was locked up there. And after 21 days, of course, the angel was retrieved, he was rescued, and he came forth. Now, the issue is this: it's not prayer and fasting which brought the answer, because the answer was already given when the moment just the man began to pray and seek God concerning this direction, God already sent an answer. So in the same way, sometimes prayer and fasting, if we don't really get direction from God, we can pray and fast and waste time. I'll give an example. When you read that same story of Daniel, what he began to do was completely, you know, fasting sometimes can frustrate you. And you can really see frustration in the life of Daniel when he was fasting. Sorry to say this, but we find that he began to confess his sins and the sins of his children, sins of his fathers, thinking that the reason why the answer is delayed is because of our sin. And yet God already released an answer. As far as heaven is concerned, an answer is released. So this fasting that Daniel is doing it without knowledge. You see that? Right? So in the same way, you really need to have direction from God. God must inspire you. God has inspired you to go do a long time prayer and fasting. Go for it. But if God has not spoken, it's best you seek Him for direction before you enter into a long time prayer and fasting. That's what I would say. But it's good if you feel like, you know, this request for this prophetic direction was given. I feel like I need to pray and fast about it for a day or 2 days. You can go ahead and pray. It's good, actually, it's healthy for the spirit man, because fasting is a spiritual exercise. Yeah, but when it becomes just, you know, God has not given you, go ahead and you stay for months without eating, you begin to starve yourself and you can even hinder your faith. Yeah, that's what I can say.
And just before what you said earlier on, very short, going out, going to preach the gospel. Do you think the church is doing enough to go out and preach and bring the people to churches? Because nowadays you find that bars are ever full, 60 churches are empty. Now, where people go to? That is your testimony also to.
Alright, that's a very good question. Well, I think the church is trying the best. We are trying the best as a church. In the sense that, of course, salvation is a very personal thing, and it's a decision that one has to make. It's not something that you can force people to accept Jesus Christ. Now, the issue is that when you look at the church today, we are taking advantage of every media that we find, social media, TV, and everywhere. You discover TV channels are all over now. I don't know if I can say Christian channels alone, there are thousands.
And also you find that social media, people have pages, they are supposed to they are sharing the gospel. And you find, most of the time you find people in the streets preaching the gospel. So the church is really trying. But the issue is that the enemy is also at work. And he's trying by all means to resist the work. The fact that there are bars out there and people are flocking into the bars. Actually, some of the people in the bars are Christians. This is the truth that we can't run away from. Actually, most of them, they are Christians. It's only that they just sneak out and they find themselves in bars and all that. But the truth is that the church is really doing so much. And we can still do more. I'm not trying to make the church feel comfortable in any way. But what I'm saying is that as a church, we can still do more to win more souls and to reach out there. But we should not be discouraged and say, for example, there's this saying, though it's a bit contrary, but there's this saying which they say, no, the church has lost its glory. Or there are no miracles in the church. It's not true that there are no miracles. There are a lot of miracles in the church. There's a lot of glory. Actually, the church today is more glorious. There's so much that is happening. The supernatural is happening. The sick are being healed. People are being delivered. So much more than it was actually even happening in the old days. But the issue is that sometimes we just look at one thing which is not really going well, or maybe a church that is not really manifesting. There's maybe one church that is not experiencing the glory of God to that level. Or our conclusion is that all the churches have lost the glory, but it's not like that. So in the same way, you may find that there are churches which are not involved. There are churches which are not involved in sowing activities, but in as much as they are not involved in sowing activities, there are still other churches which are fully involved in sowing activities, and they're trying by all means to reach out and bring the gospel to the rest of the world.
And still just maybe in add on to the issue of sowing and killing people in churches.
Okay, you are adding on what the man of God has said. The church is doing its best, and according to the instructions that the ministry has. Because we can just look at the ministry and say, these ones, they don't do this, they don't do that, every ministry is having its instruction, like we are saying for us, he's telling us to say, go there in the schools, go there in the streets and go and preach. I don't know what has been told to the other concerning the way they are going to win souls. So the work is being done. But we don't have to be comfortable. We don't have to be comfortable in this time we are in. In this time we are in, because there's gross darkness upon the people. So we don't have to be so relaxed to say, no, this is all that we can do. This is the thing that is upon the heart of God, the ministry of reconciliation. So we have to put in even our best to even do more, that we reconcile people back to God. We just have to do it. So if we have been doing it in the past years, this year we have to do it even more. We have to strategize so well on how we are going to reach out to people. Like the instruction that was given, say, compel them until they come. So we have to find the strategic ways on how we're going to reach out and let the message be heard by the people. Let the message be heard. Let's portray the life of Jesus. We take the life of Jesus as an example, where even though the people were against him, he was still there for them. Even though they rejected him, he still died for them. So there are times where you go to preach the gospel and people would want to reject it and all. We don't have to stop there. If we find it hard in the field, let's get on our knees and pray for them. Let's get on our knees and pray for them, so that the time that we go to reach out to them, God has already visited them. So as we minister, they receive the word and they accept.
Yes, Apostle, as we come to time of our program, this year 2019, we've seen in 2018 so much anger when people fighting for God and having different opinions. Now, what would be advice to young let's say different to opinion?
One great man of God actually says, let love lead. Without love, there's nothing more in the church. And during the issue of unity,
unity is born out of love. Unity is born out of love. There is no unity without love. So what I can say is that as a nation on Zambia, Zambia is a very beautiful nation, very beautiful country. But if you can grow in love, you discover that most of the challenges and difficulties that we've been having and disunities that we've been having will cease. Why? Because once love builds the bridge, then we will feel for others. Why would we fight? Because of the difference in opinion. Truly so, we should love one another. So I think just as our Lord Jesus instructed us to love, I would say the same thing. Love is a solution. If we can love one another. And also, by all means, try by all means. I don't know how this, as a church especially, we need to work on the minds of people. Because once our minds are not renewed, we still continue having the same problems in spite being born again, in spite being filled with the Spirit. So if, as ministries, we can work on people's minds in terms of transforming their way of thinking, we're going to have better results, especially even as a nation, Zambia, and the church, the body of Jesus Christ.
And that may also advise to the Zambian things of making one another, even when we differ in opinion.
Okay, one thing that I can say, just like the man of God has said, is the issue of love. We also talk about understanding. Sometimes we tend to have differences with people because, we are standing on different positions. Like you're on a mountain, this one is on the other side, this one is on the other side. So you speak what you're seeing. You say, okay, from where I'm standing, this is what I'm saying. We also have to mind where the other one is standing also, because they will speak according to where they are standing. So if we see that we are on the better view, we don't have to, come out in a way where we try to shame them, to say it's not like that. We have to help each other to bring ourselves to a place where we come to a place of understanding. We help each other to move together, to say, okay, this is how it's supposed to be, and we're not having arguments where we can just share things in love to say, let's move together. This is a better place where we can stand to see what we're saying.
Thank you very much for finding time to come and be part of the church discussion this evening. It has been the pulpit which comes to every Tuesday between 18 and 19, and our guests were Apostle Adrian and Chansa and Pastor Exuja from the Living Jesus Church Outset in Lusaka. From Kayombo and that production team, goodbye, see you next week, and God bless you.
The pulpit.
Your neighbor say, let it go. The score is not even, but let it go. You didn't get in the last word, but let it go. They never paid you back the
Maybe you
money.
can just put out those challenges that you're going to just to encourage someone out there. Someone out there could be
Challenges, so many challenges. I will tell you, it's very funny. When I came in Lusaka, I came in Lusaka, and my first place to stay was in Chansa. I was staying with my sister in Chansa, and I started looking around for a job because, of course, I needed to do some work before I finally get into the university. I have to mention that it was a very difficult time for me.
So how are you able to divide your time, with your part-time